Why, hello and welcome back to Scott Whiskers. We're talking to Lord Longbottom here. He seems an avid archaeologist, and I'm not going to ask him about
That's all for now.
About his discoveries. That would be just too much.
A mesmerizing, glittering, broad-pressed human skull.
Why does he have a slot machine in there?
Cool! A Native American slot machine. Probably late 20th century.
Can I try it? Please? No. Too bad.
Lord Albus Percival Longbottom, globetrotter, archaeology luminary, chihuahua lover, and blessed with immense wealth. Whoa! Creepy shrunken heads. I wonder if they're real.
Probably. Can I take them? No.
This is a graceful statue of the native North American chief.
I would appreciate it if you kept your hands off the statue. The chief is an irreplaceable, unique piece from the late 19th century. It either belongs back in its time, which is rather impossible, or in a museum.
Or, quite obviously, in your living room.
This, my study room, is a recognized private museum, my cheeky young friend.
Sorry, I really wanted just to admire the majestic appearance.
That's understandable.
The one at the back of the wall is what I, as an amateur, would most likely call an ornately embroidered doormat. One of them was lying in front of Sitting Bull's tent.
Right, let me check. Inquire of Lady Longbottom.
A South American blowpipe like the ancient Aztecs like to use. The armor of a robber knight from the 13th century.
Can I take it? No. I do have an idea, though. Let me try and just take something. Can I take anything from here?
Yes, my friend. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Again about the Ark of Covenant?
My boy, I already told you that I don't know anything about it. Where exactly was it buried? Brazil? Peru? Mexico?
Probably Egypt.
Well, then I certainly don't know anything about it. Africa is rather the field of expertise of my esteemed colleague, Sir Francis. I'd be happy to send you his contact information.
Well, maybe Egypt was a rough estimate. What do 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers of deviation in 5,000 years mean? Is it not so that tectonic plates are continually in motion?
Let me guess. Both history and geography were not your strong points in school.
No. I mean, yes, but...
A suggestion. You leave me your phone number, and if I find the Ark of the Covenant on one of my expeditions, you'll be the first person I call, all right?
That would be great. Just look for a
Sounds
large
good.
golden chest with magical aura. And under no circumstances, I repeat, under no circumstances, open the chest. At least not without consulting me first.
All right.
I promise, my friend, I will. For sure.
Sounds good. So, about the crystal skull.
Again, about the crystal skull?
You mean the one behind me on the shelf?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Is it really real?
I can't imagine that.
Why? Because of the rather extraterrestrial seeming head shape and your slander of the consequences resulting from it?
No, because I bought it at a flea market in Mexico City.
Yeah, but still.
And because it's made of plastic.
Ah, I see. Too bad.
Sorry to have disappointed you, but in any case, I admire your apparently boundless imagination.
So...
Again, about the Crusaders.
Yes? What about them?
Do you think that it's still possible they walk among us today? Possibly locked away somewhere in an old ruin?
Well, that seems very far-fetched to me, even if you disregard the aging process of around 1,000 years. What should such a crusader, who is also locked up in a ruin, live on for 1,000 years?
The life-giving waters of the Holy Grail.
Well,
A diet of bread and water, locked in a ruin, and for 1,000 years? I'm afraid your wanted crusader has already been dead for 999 years and 350 days. If he still walks among us today, then at most is a vengeful spirit in search of his jailer.
That's right. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I'm glad that I could help you with this.
Again, about Atlantis? Do you, as a renowned archaeologist, have a rough idea as to where Atlantis is to be found?
Ah, Atlantis, the holy grail of archaeology, and for half of my esteemed colleagues an insane fantasy, for the other half, the incentive of their profession.
To which half do you count yourself?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to dismiss Plato's writings about the naval power of Atlantis, but I think that over the millennia, more fiction than fact has been added to history. And today it should be almost impossible to separate the two.
In other words, you don't exclude the existence of Atlantis?
No, I am a scientist. Skeptical by nature, but I would not rule it out.
And where would I have to start digging? Rather in our area or a little further away?
Unfortunately, I don't have an answer to that. You should rather discuss this with one of my colleagues. But if I had to guess, I would say much further away.
So presumably without bus stop of bus line F.
At least that, I think, I can answer with certainty.
And what would be your expert answer?
No.
well, that's it for now.
That's all for now.
Good. Oh, wait, can I take the blowpipe, maybe?
I'll put it away before anyone else stumbles across it.
Oh. So...
Now I feel much safer. You never know if you ever meet a wild elephant.
Oh, wait a minute, I have an idea.
No, then Lord Longbottom will never finish his work.
Alright, so maybe, the dog. Maybe I'll use it on the dog.
Yes, please. Can I be of service to the gentleman?
I don't know. Can you?
What exactly is Susie Longbottom working on?
Work. 11-year-olds do not work. However, to the best of my knowledge, she was given a fairly complex homework assignment on the field of biochemistry. A task for which her father brought her an expensive chemistry apparatus.
What exactly is the task? Maybe I can help. Biology and chemistry were my favorite subjects in school.
Unfortunately, I can only guess. To be honest, I'm not so sure anymore that Susie is really working on her homework assignment, as much as she gets into it. For weeks, she has been tinkering with some chemical formulation. For weeks. I mean, what homework takes that long? She constantly asks me to buy various other chemical reagents, and far into the night, acrid chemical smells emanate from her nursery.
What do her parents say about it?
Well, I'm afraid Lord and Lady Longbottom are not particularly receptive to concerns about that. I think they're primarily happy that Susie was able to get excited about something like this in the first place.
Well, it sounds like the child's a budding scientist. Parents can be proud of that.
On the surface, of course, the gentleman is right. But I'm afraid Mr. Snuggles sees it a little differently.
Mr. Snuggles?
Susie's hamster. Every morning I have to look into his fear-whitened eyes, and I'm afraid Susie's experiments are not good for his health in the long run.
Oh dear. So more mad scientist than scientist.
I do not presume to judge. But since the gentleman comes from the local animal shelter, it would probably be a good idea if the gentleman at least briefly looks at Mr. Snuggles' condition.
I will! Mr. Snuggles will not end up in a microwave in this game.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Lord Longbottom is really a real archaeologist?
I say, Lord Longbottom is one of the most famous archaeologists in the Native American field. He holds a permanent professorship in archaeology at the renowned Oxford University, and regular excavations and expeditions take him to South and North America. Lord Longbottom is, as they say, a real thoroughbred archaeologist, and this already in the third generation.
That sounds fascinating. Personally, I'm a bit of an amateur archaeologist myself, albeit primarily in my video games. I regularly lead expeditions to distant Egypt or Vikingen.
I am pretty sure there is no such thing as Vikingen.
Of course. Vikings had to come from somewhere, right? I think I'd better have this technical discussion with Lord Longbottom.
Please do not disturb the Lord with anything but an important matter. I am pretty sure he's currently engrossed in his studies again.
So what's the life of a butler like?
Well, I thank the gentleman for his interest in yours truly. In fact, few people know what a demanding profession is, the craft of a butler. Yes, I deliberately say craft and not profession. At 4:50 a.m. in the morning, my alarm clock rings, and I start to take care of the needs of the gentleman. 4:50 a.m., of course, only on days when I was allowed to sleep in. I then spend the morning doing some of the following: baking bread, fetching the newspaper, mopping the floor, doing the laundry, feeding the dogs, mowing the lawn, trimming the hedge, catching up on the latest gossip, cleaning the carpets, washing the windows, cleaning the brass and silverware, matching the clothes of the day for the lady and the lord, chasing away various sales representatives outside the gate, weeding the driveway, and pruning the roses, preparing a tasty and nutritious breakfast.
Whoa, sounds like a full day.
Day? It is then 9:35 a.m. at the earliest. The day only begins then, and with it my tasks and the demands of the Longbottom family.
That sounds like a mammoth task.
Well, the life of a butler is certainly no bed of roses, but the family's trust in me honors me, of course.
Would it be an exaggeration to say that the family would be lost without your services?
Well, even though the gentleman obviously speaks the tongue of the common people, there is probably some truth to his statement. Yes, presumably a resignation on my part would result in a great deal of chaos in the Longbottom household. Not that I would ever seriously think about quitting. No, because in addition to all my obligations, my quite abundant free time allows me to lead a full social life. Every night, between 23:57 p.m. and 3:45 a.m., I passionately preside over my online role-playing guild, the Bloody Tailcoats. A virtual, but not completely absurd fantasy world of a liberated butlerhood, which bravely liberates an enchanted land from evil knights and power-hungry kings.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
It is. I take my virtual task at least as seriously as my worldly tasks.
So the mistress of the house likes cats?
In fact, these furry monsters are her great passion, and my biggest annoyance, since the cat hair constantly blocks the mechanics of my vacuum cleaner. However, I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to call Lady Longbottom particularly fond of animals. Cats tend to be the vehicle of choice to excel by participating in cat shows across the country and showcasing their greatest breeding successes.
A pedigree cat breeding? I'd better not tell my boss Mary about that.
Of course, we are talking only about noble pedigree animals. The common street cat rabble has no business in the Longbottom house. The breeding line of the lady is famous throughout the country. For this reason, Lady Longbottom is also deeply upset by the loss of Lord Fumbleclaw. But for more details, the gentleman better talk directly to the lady.
With all the pictures on the wall, I would have actually expected more enthusiasm for chihuahuas than cats.
Chihuahuas are the fable of the master of the house, Lord Longbottom. He is, as they say, more of a dog person than a cat person. His little darling faithfully guards the gate of the estate. And when I think about it, I'm surprised that the gentleman is standing here in front of me now, at least unharmed and without bloody calves.
A guard chihuahua at the front gate? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. Since the bell was apparently missing, I thought I could just enter the property.
Very strange. The estate is indeed quite extensive, and the legs of the chihuahua are frighteningly short. But why was the bell missing? We recently had a state-of-the-art video intercom system installed on the pillar of the gate.
I'm sorry. Judging by the hole in the pillar, some vandal probably stole it with brute force. And I suppose I'd better talk to the lady about Mr Fumbleclaw right away.
Still, Lord Fumbleclaw. I kindly ask the gentleman to finally memorize that. The lady insists on it.
All right.
That's all for now.
Good. And please keep your shoes clean when the gentleman walks around the property.
Hello.
Lady Longbottom, may I interrupt you for a moment?
You again?
I come from the local animal shelter.
So...
No.
Lord...
Well,
I ought to put... If you...
Alright.
Yeah.
Lady Longbottom.
You...
I come...
So...
No.
Lord...
Well...
I ought to put... If you wanted to...
Alright, I'll get back...
Yes, yes.
All right. Can I take anything from here?
Lady Longbottom's already perfectly made up. I'm sure I'll find someone out there who needs a little visual optimization.
Visual... Wait a minute. I do have an idea.
Yes, my friend. Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's all for now.
Yes.
Well, about your experiment.
What exactly was your chemistry homework again?
No chemistry homework. I'm about to create the most impressive movie monster for the most impressive monster movie ever.
And why do you need this elaborate chemistry apparatus for that?
Well, the generally common beginning of any good movie is a chemical accident combined with a cuddly pet.
You mean like gremlins? Where the cute gremlins are allergic to water and can't be fed after midnight?
Yeah, something like that. Except I'm working on making the chemical accident happen in a controlled environment. And that requires an in-depth analysis of diverse chemical combinations and their effect on the common pet hamster. Which is complicated by the fact that I only have one hamster available, and Mom refuses to buy me a backup hamster.
You mean you only have one chance to try your experiment?
Yes, unfortunately, Alternatively, I have the idea to experiment with one of the 1,000 cats from Mother's cat cattery. But Mother forbade me to do that too.
Poor kid. Parents can be pretty unfair.
You said it. But fortunately, Dad bought me this great chemistry lab. That and the in-depth analysis of chemical accidents from 56 horror movies allows me to recreate them, at least here, on a small scale. And as soon as I feel I have found the right combination, the big day comes and Mr. Snuggles turns into Tarantula gigantuous Misochrisitus.
A giant monster hamster spider.
Right, doesn't that sound exciting? And I'm sure I'm close to the finish line. Just a few last tests.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. My biggest chemistry experiment at your age was a baking soda volcano. Wouldn't that be something more for you?
Baking soda volcano? What nonsense! I'm planning a monster movie, not a disaster movie. And as soon as I have completed my experiment, the shooting will start. Now please, let me get on with my work. The right combination of ammonium dichromate and cesium. Anything else?
Nah.
Again, about Mr. Snuggles. So you're planning to turn your hamster into a monster?
Yes, for the future best and greatest horror movie ever.
And you have no moral qualms about it at all? Weren't real animal monsters banned in horror movies as early as the mid-20th century?
Well, Mr. Snuggles will not be harmed if he spends his life as a monster tarantula for the duration of the filming. On the contrary, he becomes the first monster hamster in movie history. This is a great honor for him. He certainly appreciates it.
Do you really think he wants to spend the rest of his life as a monster tarantula?
Oh, but he doesn't have to. Of course I'll turn him back into the little cuddly furball that he is today after the shooting is finished.
That sounds a bit better.
Of course, I first have to find the appropriate chemical formula for the reverse transformation. This turns out to be a bit more complicated than expected.
Oh, so you don't have an idea for it yet?
I have many ideas, but unfortunately only one attempt to test them on Mr. Snuggles. It would be a bit of a problem if I ended up with a fantastically creepy monster hamster tarantula, but no way to turn it back into Mr. Snuggles. That would screw up the whole happy ending of the movie for me. Not to mention that I wouldn't be able to film the initial transformation and would have to resort to special effects. No. Before I test my formula on Mr. Snuggles, I need a 100% chance of transformation in both directions.
Good.
Well,
So then I still have some time to save the poor hamster.
try the bunny.
Excuse me?
I said, good! Then I have some time to pet the cute hamster a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you do that. But you better not get too friendly with him. Just in case something does go wrong. Anything else?
No.
See you later then.
Bye.
Wait, I do have... Do I have my makeup kit? Can I use it on the plush bunny?
Now I know.
This doesn't need to be made up.
Oh, but
Mr.
the
Snuggles
hamster
has such
does.
a cute natural...
Right. But it does work with a
I
spider,
like the
hopefully.
idea. But to credibly convey that the hamster has turned into a monster spider... At least the fur colour of both animals should be somewhat similar. I'm afraid Susie has a good eye for such details.
Let me combine...
Wouldn't it be great if that had worked now? But unfortunately it didn't.
Wait.
I'd rather find something else to mop up. There's nothing to mop up here. Wouldn't it be great if that had worked now? But unfortunately it didn't.
So, do I
No.
have to... What do I do?
No. Maybe have another idea.
No, I don't.
The toy spider doesn't scare the toy cat. And I should stop playing with toys.
Right, let me... No. Let me try and do stuff with the dog first. If the game lets me. Which it doesn't.
Must be nice when you're... Looks like vandalism. I will never understand how people willfully and maliciously destroy other people's property.
Well...
These fancy knight armors are clearly replicas.
Can I take something
It seems to be
from
true,
there?
but at least
No.
a specimen of the small monsters pictured there had wanted to eat me at the entrance gate.
Can I... No, I can't go there.
I think the Longbottom family is obsessed with chihuahuas. Personally,
No.
I rather like Dachshunds or Beagles.
Beagles are cute.
I wonder what these paintings are worth. Is there even an art mark? If so, it's probably...
It's probably not an art market.
This is one of the many windows of this giant villa. It appears to be slightly open. I wonder what dramas are unfolding behind this window at this very moment. If my soap operas on TV have taught me one thing, there is always some drama going on in the lives of the rich and famous.
Yes, of course. Can I enter?
An open window. That awakens in me an irrepressible desire to climb up the facade and slip in. I have to use all of my willpower to restrain the little Spider-Man inside me. I really should watch less
Go ahead.
superhero movies.
Go ahead.
The villa has 1 trillion windows. This is one of the many windows of this giant villa.
So, I'm a bit out of... I don't know what to do right now. Let me check something, if I can click anything more.
I wonder where Sam, Max's best friend, went. Probably wasn't crazy enough for Susie.
Right, Sam and Max, I knew it. That face was kind of familiar.
No, Susie would notice that right away. And steal a little child's beloved hamster? I can't bring myself to do that. That being said, and who am...
Feel a slight...
Right, can I...
That doesn't really make much sense. Unfortunately,
I have to do something.
this doesn't work. In another dimension, that would probably have worked. There's nothing to mop up. Perfectly clean. There's nothing to wipe up. I like the idea, but to credibly convey that the hamster has turned into a monster spider, I'm afraid...
Well, maybe I can somehow...
I'd rather find something else to mop up. There's nothing to mop up here.
somehow cut off the mop hair from the mop itself. Now anyway, thanks for watching for now. I'll